What's up, everybody? How's it going? How you doing, Ed?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Justin's going to be a couple minutes late, and we don't have Todd with us this week. He is taking care of some family things, and so keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And they're going through some things there with the family, and so just be thinking of them. And if you're praying people, then go ahead and pray for them. They definitely could use that. And Justin will be in here just a few minutes. He's running late. You know, Justin does the Justin thing, so that's how that works. And so we got a couple people watching already. So hello, Andrew. Nice to see you. Yo, bro. We'll pop in and feel free to let us know what's going on in the chats. Let us know how you're feeling. We have a guest with us today, Ed Davis. Ed Davis has got a fantastic book. We're going to look at his latest crowdfund a little bit and talk about that, ask him a few questions. So we'll watch his video and do all that kind of stuff. Then we're probably also going to talk about a few things going on in the comics world, and just hang out here for about 45 minutes to an hour. So that's kind of the plan. Sound like a plan to you, buddy?
Sounds great.
Yeah. Well, hey, Ed, in case people don't know, go ahead and let them know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I am Ed Davis. I am the writer of the series Immortal Era. We're currently launching, it's actually almost over, the last week of our campaign for issue 4. So it's an ongoing series. It's going to be running for at least 30 issues. That's my overall plan. So we're working on it little by little, and issue 4 is coming out now, and issue 5 of the artwork's already halfway done for that. So we're trying to get a good flow and keep issues coming to people. So yeah, I'm really excited. This campaign has been amazing. This one has just blown me away. So yeah, this has been my baby since '98. I've been writing this series since college, so it's nice to finally see it in front of me and see it in the print form.
Did you say 30 issues?
Yeah, that's my overall plan. That's what I have. Basically my outline is for 30 issues.
Wow, that's nice. That's a lot. That's nice. But yeah, you're keeping up the pace. And so Phoenix Animation says, hey, Luke and Ed, how's it going? It's going well. How about you, Ed?
Doing great.
Yep. Fun day. And then Andrew says, it looks great, everyone. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and pull up your campaign here, just so that we can take a look at it and see what's going on. So you have 5 days left. You're at 124 backers. Congratulations on breaking that 100 backer mark. That's always great.
Oh, yeah.
And you're at $4,403. That is nothing to scoff at, now is it?
No, that blew me away. I mean, my goal was 1,000, but really 3,000 was what I needed to be able to cover all of the production. So the fact that we're above that is it's amazing. I cannot express how blown away I am at the reception this one has received.
Yeah. You've got a pretty good video. So let's watch your video. I'm going to make this big and put all this back where it needs to go. And then I'm going to turn up this volume because I know we're going to need to do that.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, let's watch your video real quick and see.
Immortality, a dream shared by millions. As the world rang in the new millennium, this dream became a reality. However, it didn't take long to realize that this supposed blessing was the greatest curse ever to befall the world. Fast forward 200 years into a future mired with the curse of immortality. Riddled with overpopulation and dwindling resources, the world is divided between overcrowded cities and abandoned subways. A group of heroes from the underground has dedicated themselves to finding relics from the past, which will explain the condition and restore the natural life cycle. Join us as Ari fights for her life in a showdown that will forever change her and the course of human history. Whether you're new to the world of Immortal Era or continuing your journey, we have options to meet your needs. Regardless, buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride.
It's a wild ride, man.
It is. This one's a fun one. And this one is everything you got to kind of build up to those big battles. So this issue was the build up, and now we get to see our main villain that we know at the moment and our main character finally have their big showdown. So it's a fun issue. I had a good time with this one, and I love what the art team pulled out with it. I mean, they just, every time I give them a script, they just blow me away with what they put on the page.
I will tell you, the art looks fantastic. It looks really good. I like who is your artist and your colorist and all your art? Talk about your art team for a second.
All right. Yeah, my artist is Cesar Oliveira, and he's an artist from Brazil. And this is his first ongoing series that he's worked on. So he's kind of growth through every issue. And my colorist is Viviana Spinelli, and she's actually done color work for some of the Doctor Who comics and things like that. So she was kind of the person who I knew on the team that was already working in the industry, and she was able to help with a lot of the bumps on the road, knowing how to format it and get it ready to send to a printer. So she's been someone who's been a really valuable piece of the team, because not only does she do spectacular colors, but she knows how to make sure that a book, when we print it, is going to look as good as it did when it was actually in the drive. Because a lot of times you see them printed and the formatting's wrong and everything, and she makes sure that it stays clean. And then Manny Hernandez is doing the letters, and he's the one that gave me the initial idea to take what was going to be a novel trilogy and put it into the comic book form.
That's cool. Now, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you why this is doing so well. Is because you put tons of art in this campaign, and your video's nice, fast, and short. So
yeah.
So you did a good job with all this. And but yeah, the art looks great. And you know, we kind of get a good concept of the story and everything. And so this is your fourth book. You've fulfilled the other ones. And so, I mean, this is something that, you know, people should be able to take a chance on. And you're not really taking a chance. It's like you're supporting this, and you're going to get a good story. Now, I have read, I think 1 through 3 already.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've read them, and I think it's a cool book. I've always liked it. So I think it's pretty cool. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, you helped put the video together. I definitely appreciate that. And it was, I mean, what I started watching a lot of videos and realizing what I did on my last ones, where I did that moment where I get on the video and start talking, I freeze up so bad. I mean, in something like this, I can be more loose because I'm not trying to remember a script and trying to, recite it, because I'm no actor. And it's definitely proven when you watch me in those videos, and I just get those awkward freezes and 80 takes to get a reasonably horrible video.
Yeah, true. And I don't know that many people need the creator to come on camera and talk. Trust me, my pictures are prettier than I am, so no one needs. Let's not waste time with that. So
exactly, they're going to turn it off right when I get on anyway.
Yeah, well, this looks good. We're going to bring this back up before we end. But supervillain Dutton made it tonight. Dutton, how's it going, brother?
It's doing well. Hope it's going well with you. And pleased to meet you, Ed.
Great to meet you.
Ed, this is Dragon Ed.
Yep.
I'm drinking some Peace Tea. Look at that. Tonight's episode sponsored by Peace Tea. It's the Razzleberry. That's some good stuff.
Nice.
That's some good stuff. It's $1 at the dollar store. I like things that are cheap.
That's the right price right there.
Yep. Nicholas Anthony Tockert says, hello all. Looks great. Nick, it's nice to see you, man. Nick has been working hard on, hey, there's a couple of notes on the Google Drive about the quick play that you need to address. So just a heads up. Taking care of business while we're hanging out on a break. I'm on a break, man. Igthu says, what's up? Total excellence. Yes, total excellence. So good to be here tonight and hanging out with everybody. We had a couple weird things happen. Number one, I had some family members get a hold of me today. They found me through the interwebs that I never knew existed. I have 2 nieces out in the world, and I found out that I've got another nephew out in the world, and now some great nieces as well that are out there, and I never knew they existed. Like,
that's pretty dope. I mean, the power of the internet.
It
crazy
is
like that.
It is dope, and they kept saying they're trying to find their family. They're trying to find some of their family, blood relatives, and so they find me, and then they start talking about, oh, well, what about your sister? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I've got sisters, but they're like kind of like half sisters, through my mom. And they're like, oh, no. It turns out, so rumor has it that my dad had a daughter outside of the, kind of stepkids, and that one kind of like threw me a little bit because I was like, Dad, do you have a daughter? He's like, I don't think so. And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, there was this time when like this girl showed up and said I was her dad, but I don't know what happened with that. I'm like, what do you mean you know what happened with that? Like, what's going on? Like, someone just comes up and says, hey, I'm your kid. And then you're like,
Yeah.
All right.
Not a normal conversation you have.
Yeah, I mean, if someone comes up and says, hey, Luke, you're my father. And I'm like, no. I'm your father. Wait, no, how's that work? Luke, I'm your father. Yeah, so that happened today. So that was weird. Nick says, awesome. I love how as soon as you say, I like cheap stuff, you cut. Yeah. I cut right to Nick. Shelby Watson. Actually, Shelby Watson is my niece. This is one of them that contacted me today. Hello, Shelby. It's nice to have you on my show. This is a show that is called Take a Break with Luke and Dutton. We have a special guest tonight, Ed Davis, talking about his indie comic book. We just chill out, talk about indie comics and some random stuff that happens in life. So that's kind of what's up with that. But so great to have met Chelsea today. Chelsea and Shelby, both of them today. They're sisters. And so Nick says that is incredible. And Ichthus, Dutton, new persona of being super villain has finally come. Yes, it has. I mean, he had it with that. I mean, come on. The mustache, he's been working on it. Now, do you have your evil laugh yet?
We're prototyping. We're prototyping.
We're prototyping. We're gonna workshop a few laughs later this week. Yes. I am your father. LOL. Classic. All right. So a couple things going on this week besides that. How about you guys? Anything interesting happened to you this week?
I don't have anything on your level. This is where I'm in California, so this was actually our first week with getting students back in the classroom, and I'm a teacher, so I've been teaching a screen the entire year. It's a small amount, but at least it's humans, because I feel kind of disconnected from all of humanity just teaching screens. So that was about the most interesting thing that hit me this week, but definitely a change for the better, so we can start seeing life get back to normal.
Yeah. That's I'm starting to see a lot of things start to get back to normal a little bit. We just had our first HOA meeting since COVID, and I kind of went to that a little bit before. I've never gone to one before because I didn't know we had one.
Mm-hmm.
So I break a lot of rules. I'm just gonna say it because I didn't know that I didn't know there were rules to be followed. So
you didn't know they existed, so I guess you weren't breaking them on purpose. But
I learned a lot.
It's easy to break those HOA rules.
I've learned a lot of things existed today that I did not know existed.
Yeah.
prior to today. So I'm winning big time. So something fun I want to do tonight. I think I'm going to auction off a piece of artwork tonight.
Ooh.
This page right here. This is a 1-of-1 print of my inks. So right here, check that here. I'll just make it big so you guys can see it. I think it's just fun. And here's what we're going to do. It's $20. If you guys want it, let me know. It's $20.
Dang. $20. That's a steal.
That includes US shipping. So
nice.
That will include US shipping for that. And this is a production page here with Diamond. Yeah, $20 US shipping. We'll start there. If you guys want it, let me know. If you don't, it's not a big deal. But yeah, we'll put that out there, and I'll ship that out tomorrow to somebody if you want it, and then you can shoot me over the PayPal money. Not a big deal. So hey, Piper is in the house. Hello, Piper. Piper is the editor extraordinaire for Hybrids: The Sons of Gods. And she's also co-writer on Rift Writers, which will be coming out as a series of short stories that will later be compiled into one full issue. But it's going to be really cool because she is writing, I'm kind of co-writing. And then we have Martha Schwartz, who's doing the art on that. And so it's going to look really cool. It's neat. It's a nice all ages kind of thing. It's pretty exciting. So I'm pretty psyched about it. And Yeah, she finally caught one of these. Most people, it's so fast. It's like a flash show. We just like quickly go in and do our thing. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So, Justin, you were saying that the numbers for manga's in.
Yes.
What do you got?
All right. So in 2020, as a whole, manga made $5.5 billion.
Well, hold
Wow.
on. Wait a second. Can you say it with your pinky like this?
All right. So, as a whole, Japan, the manga industry made $5.5 billion.
That's B with a B. That's B, billion?
Wow.
With a B, like right after A and right before C.
Wow.
You know how much the entire U.S. industry made?
How much they make?
1 billion.
1 billion?
And that's counting Scholastic. That's
Well, that don't count.
yeah, like they're counting Scholastic, they're counting crowdfunding.
Wow. Piper says,
Japan's like,
dude, that's a lot of money.
yeah,
they're blowing the U.S. away.
So what do you think? What do you think contributes to that kind of success? What is it?
Well, all right. So this is the thing that made me laugh. News articles were like, well, because of COVID, people are staying inside, so they just stocked up on reading materials and stuff, or they would buy digital because the digital went up like 30% in sales. Our digital in the U.S. is very stagnant. But the funny thing is the U.S. what and the opposite of, well, sales weren't as good because of COVID. But Japan's like, no, sales increased because of COVID. So it's a very weird, makes you wonder.
So let me ask. So here's kind of my theory behind that. I guess I don't really have one.
Well,
for why it went down here, here's what I think the reason why it went down here. I think it was already going down here.
Yeah.
I think that's just how it is. I think it was already going down here. And I think that a lot of stores are stuck on the whole diamond distribution thing, right? That they won't order from anybody else. They don't do direct market, and comics can only be got from comic book stores. Well, I know that the numbers are something like this. There used to be somewhere around 1,200, 1,300 stores, direct market stores in the United States. The latest numbers before COVID, they were saying it was really only about 900 stores that were actually functioning. And now they're saying there's about 300 functioning stores because a lot of them went out of business or weren't able to maintain. And so my thought was that the market was already going down. And when Diamond stopped distributing for a couple months, that made it to where books couldn't get out. But I think in Japan, you can buy like Shonen Jump, like anywhere, right?
Yeah. You can go to Barnes and Noble, and in fact, actually, that is probably the best way to look at it is go to Barnes and Noble. The comic section is typically like one shelf, maybe two. In the US of the Marvel, DC, and then like miscellaneous of all the other publishers.
Yeah.
Right. Well, just look at the Batman section. Like go to like Barnes and Noble or Books a Million, whatever is like closer to you. Just look at the Batman section. And like, does your wife read comics? No? Yes?
She reads my comic.
She reads your comic?
So does mine. That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, I make her.
Tell your significant other, like just as an experiment, like take them to that aisle and tell them like, where would you start when it came to just like Batman? I guarantee there will be like 3 different volumes, all with number 1.
Yeah.
They won't know where to start.
Yeah.
Manga section, it is clearly like it's One Piece, number 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to like 50.
So you know where to start, and they've got them in stock.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even if they don't have them in stock, right? Like, because sometimes they'll be like missing a volume, but like, all right, well, they got volume like 3, 7, 9, or whatever. But you can easily go, okay, well, I'll just get like 3 and 7, and then somewhere else or online, I can just kind of like fill in the gap.
Yeah.
US, it's like, all right, I'm getting 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Right.
And it's
right.
like, how do you organize this? You
Yeah.
can't.
Well, first off, before I go any further, hail Frog G. What's up, buddy? Good to see you
Yes.
tonight. Glad that you're here. Feel free to chime in at all if you have anything to say. But yeah, okay. So back to that. So we talked about the whole like comics at Walmart the other day. Like we've talked about a couple times because I think that that could be potentially a really great if they could get it together. So I finally found the comics at Walmart. They had them in the video game section, just like I said they should. Okay. Right next to the collectibles with some pops and different stuff like that. So I was like, finally, they got it in the right spot. But here's my other problem. They had a bunch of issue 2s and issue 3s. They didn't have issue 1s there. So I was like, did they sell out of issue 1, or did they say, oh, well, issue 1 didn't sell, so I'm going to put issue 2 or 3 out? Because if that's what they did, they don't know what they're talking about. It's just like what Justin was talking about. It's like, where do you start? People want to be able to start at the beginning, not in the middle. And so Nick says this, manga is not stigmatized as immature. The broader subject matter attracts more varied audiences. Plus, Japan was much more obedient to government mandates about lockdowns. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Smash the like, ding the bell. Thank you, Frog G. Appreciate that.
Boom, look at that. Wise words from Frog G.
The wisest of words from Frog G. And so so maybe that has something to do with it, but I think it's quality of content. I think it's
I will say so there is a difference of like reader of like in Japan than the US. Because like everybody in Japan reads manga. Because they're a smaller population than the US. Like their whole population is like maybe not even the whole population of like Texas and New York, right? But they outsell us crazy because everybody reads it.
Yeah.
Only a smaller percentage of the US people read, and the ones that do, lo and behold, they're still reading manga. A lot of it has to do with, well, it's easy again, you can keep track of like the numbers of manga.
Yeah,
you have anime, which has that synergy, and then all right, so in Japan the manga stores are like everywhere, and you have all different like varieties, but Shonen Jump is the most popular, and Shonen Jump should be equivalent to like the US's like Marvel and DC in a way, because a lot of it is like power action hero based stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like Marvel DC Image-ish, right? Because it's all creator owned.
Yeah, someone's gonna hate me when I say this, but I'm not a fan of manga.
And that's cool.
I'm not. I prefer but I'm an old school comic book fan. I fell in love with them in the 80s and 90s. So
there's some it depends for me. Some things I like, some I don't. Right? But I completely understand the appeal. I think sometimes manga, all things have its tropes. There are some manga tropes I don't like, I don't prefer, but then there's like some stories where I'm like, yo, this is absolute gold. And the way they treat superheroes like superheroes, or not even superheroes, because some things are like One Piece, for example. It's 1,010 chapters deep so far, and it's not going to end for like another 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. and that's like 5 years ish, is what the creator said. But
Wow.
you know, they have something called like devil fruits, which they're like magical fruits. You eat it, you get a power. And the whole thing is like finding the gold of like One Piece and traveling different islands. Well, every island, it's like an adventure. They go, they explore, you find out something new. Oh, there's a baddie there. Boom, you take care of the baddie. Next island, next island, next island. Well, it's adventure, like how US comics kind of used to be. Plus, you also have like these, you know, devil fruits, which give you power. Main character Luffy, he's a rubber man, like, you know, Stretch Armstrong. You have other people who's like lightning, etc., and they all have like the weakness of like salt water. They can't swim if you eat the fruit, but they do clever things like Luffy can make his whole body like super bouncy, where he basically becomes like a human ping pong ball, and like all these other like different unique things of like, let's take a power and let's figure out exactly everything you can do with it.
I will say this about manga. It definitely captures a childlike innocence and excitement, where I feel like a lot of Western comics have kind of gone really like dark adult kind of stuff. So I just started watching that show Incredible, and I got a couple of the comics and I kind of followed a little bit, but you know, there were so many comics to read, I just didn't. One of the things I noticed is, man, that show is dark.
Yeah. I am a big fan, but I also know like this isn't for everybody.
You know, I like it. I'm not gonna, you know, I'll be honest, I like it.
But I also have issues with the show because of it speeds past a lot of things, and I'm like, yo, you're missing a bunch of storylines and
you know,
developments.
They always do that with shows and movies. They always do that. But I mean, it's pretty good. You know, I mean, I think it captures what it needs to be entertaining. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, man, this is dark. This isn't like, you know, it's and there's some, I think, some darkness to some of the manga that I've watched, the anime that I've watched.
Yeah, some of them have it there, definitely.
Yeah. But I will say that's another thing because I made like in a comparison between two different things. Like US is Watchmen, which is very dark.
Yeah.
And there's an anime called like Neon Evangelion, is how you pronounce it or whatever. It's also really dark. And they're both kind of like deconstructions of like, you know, depression and other things. Mm-hmm. Problem is, everyone saw this like in both highly successful. US was like, oh, well, Watchmen was successful. Let's do that. Let's deconstruct everything, make it all more gritty, realistic. Anime went, that's really cool, and there's a few things that will be on that tone, but the whole market didn't shift to that.
They added it to the repertoire rather than make it all of their, like, the only, it's an arrow in the quiver, not the only arrow in the quiver. So I see that, you know, I get that. And that's what I was telling my wife today. I said, you know, it'd be really, I would love for my series to get picked up, you know, one day, because it has positive messages to it. You know, it's not the same as some of that other stuff. And you know, Piper says exactly, you know, you've got to have multiple things going on. And you know, Nick talked about cost value, you know, how much it costs for a standard comic versus how much it costs for a Shonen, you know, Jump or something like that, you know. I think all of that plays a part. And so there was an article my wife sent me. Go ahead. You wanted to say something.
Yeah. Because I mean, so like on the price thing, 22 pages, single issue, like $5 more or less, right? You can get an entire volume, like 100 and something, 200 pages, $10.
Yeah.
That's very true, Piper. There is a manga for or about everything.
Everything.
You don't have that in comics unless you really go to indie comics, but indie comics have a little trouble getting out there. But so there's this article. So last week we talked about the whole Marvel's going over to Penguin Random House, and like how that discount is going to change. There with Diamond there was a sliding discount, but with Penguin Random House, it's a fixed discount. It's 50% off the cover, no matter how many issues you buy, how many copies you buy. So people were talking that, you know, this really could could damage Diamond distribution. Like, they could go under. And if they do, that this particular article from HollywoodReporter.com was saying that there's about 100 publishers outside of the big two that Diamond deals with. And some of those, like, their only form of distribution is Diamond, right? And this one guy named Hibbs, he estimates that as few as 6 comic publishers might survive such an event, down from the roughly 100 current represented by Diamond, if Diamond would happen to go out of business. Thinks that only 6 of them would. But here's my thing. Like, let's be realistic, folks. There's 100 publishers outside of the big two. And those 6 he's talking about are probably like Image, IDW, and a few others. Dynamite.
Dark Horse, something like that.
Yeah, he's probably talking about those, right? But the thing is, like, there are so many publishers out there and independent publishers that don't use Diamond at all because it was ridiculous to try to get in, and it's very expensive to try to get past all of the noise to get put into those stores. So I think, there's just a lot of people that just don't use those at all. And I think where you're seeing that increase in numbers, the reason why everyone reads manga in Japan is because there's something for everybody. Where here, I can safely say when I go to the comic book shop, there's a strong possibility I'm not going to find something for my wife or my daughter.
Yeah, true.
Right? There's going to be a lot of stuff for me and maybe a couple things for my son. But
if you find something for your daughter, it's, I don't like, how old is she?
18.
Roughly 18?
Yeah, she's 18.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you probably won't, like if she was like a little kid, I know most comic shops have like a section like this one, like literally.
Yeah. Well, I know it was like My Little Pony. It was Strawberry Shortcake, and it was very slim pickings from that point on when I was buying them for them when they were little girls.
When she was a tween, they had Gem came out a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
They did that one. And I mean, it was okay. She liked it. She's got her issue number 1 with it and everything, but yeah, I think if there were more, like, just a higher variety available to people, I think our numbers would be better. It'd be more than a million. I think we'd be on par with that. I really do. So Nick says, I think a big issue is manga is more like a type of publication, treated like a novel set instead of a 90+% comics or superhero with a whole lot retread or retelling. That's very true. It's I mean, how many times can you find out that Wayne's got shot in an alley? I swear. I'm tired of that.
Also, things end in manga. Like, for better or worse, sometimes a creator will be like, no matter how high the tide is of popularity, he'll be like, it's over. Like, this, I told my story. Boy, he was like, Or he's like, I'm done telling this story. I could do more, but I want to do other things. So I'm ending it. Like, this is the last story. Like, boom, done.
Yeah, Jennifer says there's a lot of dark at the cons in general.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be part of it. And that's true. It's everyone wants to be brooding like Batman, but sometimes you got to have some brightness and positivity. Nick says, and I'm an old manga anime fan to the point for years I didn't even bother with American comics, as it was all retelling of the tights and capes crowd. Higher level indie books told better stories that pulled me in, and that's true. I think you're seeing that a lot, and I think the market's going to switch that way because the comic shops that are really successful right now are the ones that are indie friendly, and some of those are just all indie. And look, you can just see Justin's eyes. Hey, Dutton.
I'm okay with this. I feel exactly like what is it? Home Improvement.
Yep.
I'm Tim's neighbor now.
Yep, you're Wilson. They have a beginning and an end. Very important. Yes.
Yeah.
Have a beginning and an end in stories by all means.
Yep.
Jennifer says, little girls are my target audience. I just have to figure out how to start my book and comics. Do you know any online workshops for traditional artists? I don't, but I can try to find some, and maybe next week we'll highlight a couple of those.
I don't, but if little girls are your target audience, I would say don't pay attention to Marvel. There is one book of DC. It's a graphic novel called Primer. Pay attention to that because that for like the last 5 months have actually been like the top 5 on its like graphic novel sales.
Yeah,
and it's like an original graphic novel for kids, and it looks amazing.
Silverline has a book called Tiny. I don't know. Have you heard this? He's got Roland has a book called Tiny over on Silverline. You should check it out. It's definitely it's good.
Yeah.
And then I would also say pay very close attention to Scholastic books.
There's a lot of great stuff in there. I mean, my students, when they get those catalogs, they find a lot of great graphic novels and comics, and they're kind of catered for the younger audience, and they have stuff that's directly for the girls. I mean, I think about my daughter is crazy about like Smile and Sisters and all the stuff that Raina Telgemeier's doing. So she's writing graphic novels straight for girls, and that's a Scholastic-based thing. And pretty much whenever a new one comes out, we are rushing to the bookstore to get that day and date. So there are things out there that get the girls, crazy to read immediately. And I think about that. There's Lumberjanes is another one. I've seen her kind of devour that series. So there's some stuff out there. Sadly, it's few and far between, but there are people writing graphic novels that, boys and girls can both read them, but their target audience would be more girls, and they're successfully putting things out there, and you have to hunt for them, but they definitely exist.
I think we focus too much on adults for a while. It's like, oh, I want to make comics for me, and it's like, let's make comics for everyone. I think comics.
There's this cool comic called Unstitched. I don't know if you've heard about it or not. It's kind of cool.
I have heard about it. In fact, let me tell you a little bit about Unstitched.
And in fact, I actually made it for my niece. She's actually inspired the main character. Ooh.
Fear takes form in the darkness. The darkness feeds off screams. Fear is the enemy of childhood wonderment, built on hopes and dreams. So remember, in the terror of night, to protect the child, protect the light. Try not to become unstitched.
You can cut it from there.
Hi, I'm Dutton, writer and creator of Unstitched. It's a brand new story that was created by...
There it is.
Get that guy off.
And so something else that kind of like falls in line of that Shonen Jump or Run kind of thing is a thing that they're doing over Arrow Comics with the Indie Volt Revolt. So here, check this out.
Black and white comics. Over 15 complete. Over 110 great pages of black and white comics, over 15 complete stories performed by over 24 creators, all contributors or listeners to the Indie Volt podcast. A square-bound graphic novel-sized book wrapped around 2 different front covers. This is a flip book with 2 different cover set options for you to choose from. All performed by a wide variety of talent from a wide variety of countries, all wanting to show you their potential and the power of what alternative and independent comics can have. And that's just the start. Stretch goals will add more stories to this book, making it literally as big as the backers can possibly make it, and heralding the return of Arrow Comics back to regular publishing greatness. This is not the time for alternative and independent comics to stand still. This is time to revolt. This is Indie Volt Revolt. Get yours today.
So there's another cool option that people, that's happening right now. And they just got some big news. It turns out they're going to, starting in August, they're going to be releasing as that whole collection will go to the direct market as a series of 32-page books.
Nice.
So the Indie Volt Revolt you'll be able to get that.
You know what? I want to take the moment to be like, yo, Luke was very smooth on those. I got these videos right here.
I've been practicing. I put 5 minutes of thought into it today. Yeah, that's what I did. I put a little bit of thought into it today. I have one more video for you guys to check out. I've got a book that is in it's in the sign up phases right now. So check this out.
In a world where the powers of the ancient Greek gods live on through their ancestors, it is up to an intrepid team of heroes to foil the wicked plots of the Hybrid Engineering Corporation. Armed with new information concerning an ancient weapon fabled to have the power to kill a demon, Rev and the team split up to gather the shards and put an end to Azazel before it is too late. Little do they know, the Game Master is still pulling the strings. New characters, new threats, and tons of plot-driven action await you in The Killing Field Part 2.
I can jam out to this.
Yeah, that was
It's got a good club beat to it.
It did. I was like, we're down with this. We're down with this one. So I'm popping some things here in the chat quickly here so that we can put some get some links out there for everyone, and we're gonna do on Stitch, get that link out there for you as well so you can check that out. It is a great kids book. I have read it and I like it.
I will be getting the books shortly, very shortly.
Nice.
Who'd you wind up going with?
I did end up going with Mix'em just because of the cover options they have.
Okay.
But your guy put up a very good.
He always does. He always does.
I'm gonna look at him when I'm doing issue 5. Issue 4, I gotta cash out all my bonus points I have before I let them go to waste.
Bonus points.
That's important to get that. Yeah. So, all right, let's bring back up Immortal Era here and just kind of go over that one more time before we head out.
Yes, because I actually missed it, so I would like to know more of this.
Cool.
I saw a little bit of fight, and it looked dope.
I have another stream to go on to here soon, so we will cut it short tonight. It might be the first time that we've made it short. I don't know what's happening to my. Ooh. Let's do this, and then I'll do this because that needs to happen so you guys can hear it.
Immortal,
there you go.
A dream shared by millions. As the world rang in the new millennium, this dream became a reality. However, it didn't take long to realize that this supposed blessing was the greatest curse ever to befall the world. Fast forward 200 years into a future mired with the curse of immortality. Riddled with overpopulation and dwindling resources, the world is divided between overcrowded cities and abandoned subways. A group of heroes from the underground has dedicated themselves to finding relics from the past, which will explain the condition and restore the natural life cycle. Join us as Ari fights for her life in a showdown that will forever change her in the course of human history. Whether you're new to the world of Immortal Era or continuing your journey, we have options to meet your needs. Regardless, buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride.
It's a wild ride. Check out some of these tier pack. Here's pledge packages you can go to. $2 you can get the digital copy for issue 1. $2 you get digital. You get number 4. $2 you can get the digital $7 you get the digital catch up. So you get all of them for that one. You get the physical copy of issue 4 for $10. Now, is there shipping on that too?
No, the shipping's free. The shipping's included in the price.
Oh, sweet. So that's $10 free U.S. shipping. Are you shipping international?
I am shipping international, and that just varies by what country they're going to. But yeah, I have a few backers that have been with me since the first one that I launched. There's one in Switzerland. There's a few in England, and they bought it every time. And my Switzerland guy always gets a shirt on top of it. So yeah, I do international. I'll ship anywhere. If someone wants a book, I will get it in your hands.
Sweet, man, like that. And free U.S. shipping. I mean, come on. So like, what you pledge is what you get. That's what it costs, and so
I try to keep it that way.
What's the short print?
Short print is just 125 copies of. So I do every issue. We do one regular and then one short, which is only 25 copies. And I just make my vow that I won't reprint those things again. We're doing Virgin Sketch this time, so it'll be the same covers, but in the sketch print. So I try to think like a collector, because I'm one too. And I think, okay, if I have this really cool cover and I just keep reprinting it, then you basically two
so
covers. But I want to make one really rare and one, obtainable as much as you'd like.
Yeah, so you can get hats. You can go. I got a dad hat on right now. Nice. I'm not going to take it off. Forget it. I'm not going to take it off. It's too much work. Version short print sketch set, $85. $205, issue 4 and issue 3, page splash page. So you get art. You're getting art for that.
Yeah.
Early bird, get it. Oh, and there's some stuff that's already gone. Yeah, you've already got everything that's gone over there. So look, you can get in on this. There's no reason not to get involved with this. So I would encourage anyone to I've read this. This is a good book. The art is great. It's compelling. The story is interesting. There's a lot of action, and it's plot-driven action too. So it's not just like, sometimes you'll get a book and the action it's almost pedestrian. It's like, hey, a little bit of like plot, and then it gets you this fight, and a little bit of plot. But like, I like it when the action is for a purpose.
Yeah.
And you actually get some details of the world around you through the action. Like, some of the plot comes out in that. And so I really dig all of that. And so it that makes me happy when I see that kind of stuff. And so this book has that. And I would encourage anyone and everyone to go over. You got 5 days left. Here, let me figure this out. You got 5 days left. And you've got 125 backers right now. You're sitting at $4,413 on a pledge on a goal of 1,000. So you've killed it. Like, you've really just, congratulations. You've done a great job.
Thank you. Like I said, I let the art speak for itself. It's, I gave enough story, but people want to see the art. They want to see what's, what they're going to get when they open the book. So everything you see is, straight from issues 1 through 4. And I wanted to showcase that, because my art team is, they need to see that work and see, okay, this is what you're getting. Because you hear indie comic, and a lot of people have that stigma, like, okay, indie comic, and they think someone drawing stick figures and then self-publishing it. So
yeah,
people still, like you said, with comic books, some people think they're just for kids, even though there's a lot not for it. And then people hear indie comics and they immediately just think, oh, this is going to be some thrown together junky thing. And they don't realize that, some of the best stories being told out there are being told in indie comics. And there's a wide variety of great stuff that you can find if you just kind of search around Kickstarter. And I search around far too often and back, so many things, but there's so many great stories that I'm really deeply invested in. And it's, people need to go out there and find the good stuff.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So, let's go ahead and we'll just go around and we'll just go ahead and start closing things down, because I've got another stream to get onto here in about 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you and any last minute thing you would like them to know.
Right now, you can find me anywhere on social media under Finish Line Comics. So Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all under Finish Line Comics, and also finishlinecomics.com. And that will have different appearances and things like that once there's appearances to actually promote. So yeah, if you could go and check out the Kickstarter, I try to keep the prices nice and affordable. So if you want to just give a shot to a digital copy and see how you like it, I would love to have you as a reader. And like I said in the beginning, it's going to be a long series, but I'm going to work my best to keep issues coming out at a regular pace so that you don't have to wait a year between issues.
Awesome.
And you can find me on Facebook at Justin Dutton, on Twitter at Justin Dutton 18. You can find my work on Indiegogo. You just look up on Stitch. And you can find me here every Tuesday between 8 and 9-ish p.m.
Yep. All right. Yeah, my name is Luke Stone. You can find me at lukestonestudios.com. Please head on over there. Sign up for the mailing list. Also, put your name on the mailing list. There's a link for the Killing Field Part 2. Sign up for that. And before the book launches, the campaign launches, we're going to be sending out an 8-page preview once the letter gets done. And we'll send that out to everyone so that you can get a chance to get a little peek at what's going to be inside of the book. Plus, we'll have a couple of peeks of the RPG quick play that is going to be on this campaign as well. And we may even show a couple of pages of the fully remastered issue 1 of Hybrids, the Sons of Gods Trash Day Part 1. So the very debut issue, we're totally remastering that for Arrow Comics for our release in August. So we're really excited about that. So head on over there. It's 1 campaign, 3 books. Sign up for the mailing list. Get some free previews for that. And make sure to go and check out all of these great creators and all of the other stuff they're doing. And be cool to people. All right? Just be cool. Don't be a jerk, right? So that'll be it for us tonight. Be cool. Don't be a jerk, guys. So
you know what? You should have went all like Gecko Brothers with it. Like, be cool. You be cool.
You be cool. Yeah. So it's been a good night. So Ed, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully you get a couple of people checking out your stuff from this campaign.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's no problem. If there's anybody out there watching, if you have a campaign you'd like or you'd like to come on sometime and talk about it to the audience, we're more than happy to have you on. We like to have this little format where we talk a little bit about you. Talk about.
You know what? I have someone for it next week. I just got to message them because Matt Crotch just launched yesterday. So actually, on Indiegogo, look up Kyrie Y Hotels. Do that. Right. He's already funded.
All right.
Well,
guys, we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat place. Wait, that's someone else's slogan. My bad. Forget it. Have a good one, guys.